Hello and welcome to my comic book vlog. I am Jason, and you may have seen last night I uploaded my first review show. Originally I had a load of books I wanted to share with you, but because there was such a big review show, I got 10 comics last week, so it took the whole video just talking about those comics. So I thought what I'll do a vlog. I won't do these vlogs regularly. The comic book review show I am going to try and do every week. But these vlogs I will just do from time to time when there's a subject that I want to talk about. The overriding theme of this is basic. It's a loose theme. Is what to do if you don't live near a comic book shop. How can you still collect comics, old and new? So first things up. The first thing that came for me last week was this, The Walking Dead. Volume 4, The Heart's Desire. I'm a big fan of the TV show. I'd never read the comic. I then was looking on Amazon and I saw they had volume 1 at a really good price. I got volume 1, loved it, and I just get these every time I get paid. I'll order 1 or 2, and at the moment I'm up to volume 4. For those of you that have never seen this show or read the book, basically what it's about is a policeman called Rick, and in the first page of the first issue he gets shot. He wakes up in hospital and the world has been taken over by zombies basically. There's not many, you can't find no people, and he then finds some survivors, but his overriding thought is what's happened to his wife and his son. So he goes off looking for them, and then when he gets the resolution of that story, he meets up with this group of survivors, and then the book sort of follows this group together, and as they try and survive in this new world where everything that they know is gone, and they basically have to go back to scratch and start living. It's a very good book. If you're not into horror books, this is still a good book because it's not about the horror. It is about the human characters and about how they survive in this very extreme world. The art is black and white, but don't let that put you off. The art is very, very good, and it's the expressions of the characters, the faces. It's Charlie Adlard who does the art, and he's fantastic at facial expressions and the eyes, and they tell so much. Here's a brilliant scene here between two of the characters, and you can see there, you can get a sample of the facial expressions. I won't spoil too much about this issue because I don't like to spoil things where I can. We meet this is a new character we meet, Mikoni. I don't know if you pronounce it Mikoni or Mikone. She's going to be in season 3 today. In fact, I think I saw the first clip of season 3 online, and she was slicing and dicing and zombies as she does. She sort of comes into it this issue. That won't spoil anything. It continues the story from last time, and we get things that have happened in books 1 and 2. Sort of we feel the ramifications of them here. The ending reverberations and stuff that happened in this issue are going to reverberate further forward. It's the best one I've read yet. I had it gripped. I couldn't put it down. One of the great things they do is often when you get a graphic novel, they will still be very much set out as the individual issues they were released as. This, they take away all clues of where a book starts and finishes, and so it feels just like one long story, which is really well done. You know, you could probably, if you sat down and really looked at it, you could probably come up with weird things, but the way they do it is really good. If you're interested in this series, I would recommend going up, picking in volume 1. The story very much continues. It isn't one of them books you can dip in and out of. The story very much continues, and things will be driven forward. So to really understand the characters and what's happening, you really need to read it in order. But I totally recommend it. Even if you're not, like I say, not a horror fan, it's just a great read. So pick it up. And Amazon are a really great way to pick it up. They do really good prices, And these days you don't have to wait that long to receive your comics, and they have a real good selection. I think you can even, I think some of DC's comics you can download to your Kindle, so you can read comic books through that as well. So yeah, there's one option, and that's a very good book to get. Another option here in the UK, if anyone's been watching Ghost Critic and Mark, who is MAW00001 channels, you'll have seen they had these big hauls from this shop in the UK called The Works. The Works is a discount bookstore. They also sell stationery and a few toys, and they have changed throughout the UK. And after seeing Ghost Critic and Mark's videos and seeing what the comics they got from there, I went in, because they're doing at the moment this offer where they have 2 comics wrapped together for 99p. So I went to my local one, and they did have some, but not much of a selection. So I found that there was a few near me. So I travelled to King's Heath, where I used to go to school, and they didn't have none of the comics, but they did have this, Obsessed with Marvel. It is basically a quiz book, and you have this little, oh, I get my sides mixed up. You have this book, this thing here, and what you do, you switch that on, and then in the book you have pages and pages of questions. And what you do is, this thing tells you a question number. This thing shows you the question number. You find the question in the book. You then read the question. You select A, B, C or D, and it tells you if you got it right or not. It's a really good way to spend a few hours. Like I said in my last video, I'm no expert, and this brought it home with a bang. Some of the questions, one of the questions was like, what is the address of the Avengers mansion? And I was like, you know, I was stuck. But it is good. Not all the questions are that hard, but it is really good fun. And £5 it cost me. On the back it says it was $29.95. There isn't even a UK price on the back, so I don't even know if usually you can get this in the UK. I've in the past I've seen a Star Trek one. I did not know they did a Marvel one, but it's a great idea, great fun. Really recommend picking this up if you're a big Marvel fan. A good way to waste a few hours, and at the price you can get it from the Works for a £5. It's worth picking up. I then travelled to another Works in Sallee Hall, which is the posh part of Birmingham, and I picked up a bunch of books, which I was pleased. I got this one, a Marvel Point 1, which I believe only came out in like October, November. So I was really surprised they had this in the collection. I haven't read it yet. It looks a good book. It looks like it's a series of short stories featuring various heroes in it. You've got Age of Apocalypse, you've got Nova, you've got Doctor Strange, the Avengers. So there's a real mixture of stories in this one. So I'm looking forward to having a read of that. Another book I picked up was a New Excalibur, issue 10. This was with one of some of these books I didn't pick. They were just, they might have come with a book that I bought. Like this one I think was on the back of the Marvel Point 1. But I remember this book. Excalibur originally was a book started by Chris Claremont and Alan Davis. Now Davis was known, I know Davis, he's worked on a lot of books, but one book he particularly worked on with Alan Moore was Captain Britain, while Chris Claremont is known for his work with the X-Men. And what Excalibur was basically, it was like a UK based branch of the X-Men, and over the years the team changed. You had people like Captain Britain, you had people like Cyclops and Colossus and Nightcrawler and Rachel Summers and Moira McTaggart and Juggernaut and Wolfsbane. All of these different characters came into the group over time. At some point they cancelled the book, I'm not sure, and then they relaunched it in 2005 as New Excalibur, and it lasted until they relaunched it as Captain Britain and MI13, which is a good series of books. And I think one of them books they're releasing as part of the Marvel graphic novel collection in the future, a book called Vampire State. But this is set before that. This book's from 2006 and it's issue 10 of New Excalibur, and it's got Captain Britain on the cover. When they launched New Excalibur, I'm sure Chris Claremont was writing, but at this point he's been replaced by, let me get this guy's name right, Frank Terry, and the art is by Michael Ryan. So then we've got New Excalibur issue 13 as well. I've not read these yet, so I'm looking forward to that. The next one I picked solely out for the cover, and look at that. It's Incredible Hulk issue 49, and the cover is a takeoff of a children's book called Where the Wild Things Are. So I really like that. It reminds me of my childhood. I also got issue 50 of the Hulk, which kicks off a story called Dark Mind, Dark Hearts, and also issue 51. Another book that must have come with one of them was this one, Nth Man, The Ultimate Ninja, issue 3. I had not heard of this book at all. Flicking through it, it very much has the vibe and the feel of G.I. Joe. And it's not surprising when you see who the writer is. It's Larry Hamas, who probably had the most well-known run on G.I. Joe, and a very successful run as well. And the art is by Ron Wagner, but I'd never heard of this book, so I don't know how long it ran for, but it's one I'd never heard of. But then issue 7 as well. Looking at the date inside, it's from 1989. So, you know, I don't know how long this book ran, but that was around the time I was started collecting comic books, so but I never heard of that one. Then we've also got this one. This one was just pure, it looks pure fun. Marvel Apes, issue 44. Looking inside, it's like all the superheroes have been turned into apes. They've even got Ghost Rider as an ape, you know. He's still got the flaming skull, but it's an ape skull. It looks a lot of fun, and depending how this issue is, I might go and try and pick up the first 3 issues. Those of you who watch my review show will know I've just recently started reading The Punisher by Greg Rucka. Wow. I spotted this, and this was written by Rucka as well, and I thought I'd pick it up. It's Marvel Knights Wolverine issue 13, so I thought I'd pick that up. And fortunately they also add issue 15 and issue 16, so I look forward to reading those and seeing what they're like, because I'm enjoying Greg Rucka's Punisher, so I thought, yeah, I'll see what else he's done. This was another book I've never read, or a character rather I've never read. It's an imprint of Marvel Comics called Max Comics, which I think was for the more violent characters, and it's issue 2 of Blade, so that looks interesting. And the cover, it looks very much like the Wesley Snipes version. So, and finally, the last one I got in this set was a comic from 1984, and it's issue 7 of Nova. So yeah, I don't know much at all. I've seen a little bit of him in Secret Avengers, but I don't really know that much at all about Nova. So I'm looking forward to read this one, and they did have quite a few of this one. So I might go and pick up some more issues. The art, as you can see, is very much as a 1990s feel. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one, because I like all the Marvel space stuff. So yeah, so that was the works. The other place that I went on last week was eBay, and I bid for 10 comics. I bought a stack of 10 comics, and I got them for £4.50, which was brilliant. They're back issues, which individually would have probably, from my local comic shop, the same kind of back issues would have cost me £3 or £4 each. So to get 10 for the price I would have paid for one was brilliant. They are the Avengers. I'm a big Avengers fan, especially like them from the 70s and 80s. I think that was when they were at their best. So you've got here issue 241, and then we have issue 242. We then have issue 243. Issue 244. issue 245. Then issue 246. So I think now we must be getting in after the Secret Wars, because though She-Hulk's still part of the team, here she's got a Fantastic Four uniform on, which was after Secret Wars she became part of Fantastic Four. So we must be around that point somewhere. We then have issue 247. Issue 248. Issue 249, which looks like it's got the Fantastic Four in it as well as the Avengers. And then issue 250, and it seems this issue is a double thick issue, and it features not just the Avengers but the West Coast Avengers. You can see up here you have the Avengers, and up here you have the West Coast Avengers, which was when they first started to try to do more than one title of Avengers. So there you go. I'm looking forward to reading through these. The artwork is just so classic, as that classic feel to it. It was really looks a lot of fun, this book, real hoot. And the paper as well. It just reading a comic with this kind of paper just makes me all nostalgic. Let alone when I get to the artwork. So yeah, so that's what I got off eBay. eBay is another good place. You can buy new or old comics if you look around, and you can get some really good deals if you look around. And on eBay there are some really good deals and some really good sellers, and they don't take that long to receive. You always got to remember when you're bidding that remember to add in the postage, because it can sometimes make a significant difference that you might forget. But yeah, eBay is another good way to go. Yeah, I hope this video has been helpful, giving you ideas on other ways to shop for comics, and that you've enjoyed seeing what I've been getting. I will be back on Friday. New comics come out on Wednesday, but I should be able to upload my new video Friday morning, so it will be up then. It'll be a shorter one this week, I promise, as I've only got 5 comics I'm buying. It was originally 6, but I've dropped Captain America. Nothing to do with the writing. I'm still loving what Ed Brubaker's doing with Cap. It's just that it's one of the twice a month books, and it really bugs me, twice a month books, and I'm trying to cut down the amount of books I get. And if I cut Captain America out, that's like two books I'm cutting out. I'm mindful of the future, that coming up in September and October there's a lot of books coming out that I want to start collecting, so I've got to cut some books to be able to get them books. So cutting Cap sort of cuts 2 books, if you will. And plus the fact that it just really gets on my nerves, Marvel printing a book twice a month, and Ed Brubaker is leaving that title later this year. And one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons he stayed, he was leaving, was that he just didn't have the time to write a book twice a month. That the last story arc they're doing, that starts in 2 weeks, Colin Bunn is coming in and co-writing it with Ed Brubaker, because Brubaker just doesn't have the time. He's doing other things, he's got other projects that he's doing, and he just doesn't have the time to do a book twice a month. So he's leaving Captain America soon, and I think that's a real loss for fans of Captain America. Ed Brubaker's had a fantastic run on that book, and though he'll still be writing Winter Soldier, it's still a big loss for Marvel and for Captain America. And I think, sometimes you have to go. It's the only way to get your viewpoint noticed by these big companies, and hopefully if enough people feel strongly that 2 books a month is too much, and they start dropping the titles that are twice a month, hopefully Marvel will sit back and take a look at that. That's the only way we're going to make a difference. So I'm dropping Cap, and I'm sticking to my guns, even though I am a big Captain America fan, and it really You know, I'm really enjoying the current storyline with the Scourge. I think it's been a really good story, but twice a month, come on, that's too much. Anyway, that's me. I've had my moan out the way. I feel a lot happier now. I've been on my little soapbox. As I said, that's it. I'll be back on Friday. Hope you all have a good week and take care.